Welcome to Psalm 89. Again, I think I might change this title. My servant David the Anointed to my servant the Anointed. Because, yes, David is mentioned, but it's obvious that there's more to this description of this servant than just David. And as we go through the psalm, I'll point that out, of course, as we have. It's similar to the last psalm, 88. I'll read some Greek at the beginning here. Synesios aitham to Israeliti, ta elei su Kyrie, is ton eona asome, is genian ke genian, apangelo tin alithian su, into stomati mu. A contemplation of Itham. This person is the Israelitine, but in 1 Kings 4:31, it's Ezritim, not the Ezraelite, more of the Ezra-itim, or Etim, somebody from Ezra, the tribe of Ezra. Whichever it is, it does mention him in 1 Kings 4:31 as somebody that was inferior to the knowledge of Solomon, but he was up there towards the top, along with Haman. And it begins in verse 1, I shall sing of your mercies, O Lord, into the eon. So this person is writing this knows that whatever he is writing here and singing and putting to music is going to last longer than he will. I sort of feel that with the Apostolic Bible Polyglot video seminars here that I'm doing, that, Lord, I shall do these seminars of your word into the eon, that hopefully it will go out to peoples that are around long after I am gone. I feel good about these video seminars, not because I'm doing them. That's the that's the worst part, I suppose, but that you're seeing the actual original Greek words and the English translation underneath it. So somebody many years in the future, if they do run across them, they will have the original words of the Greek, which were translated, of course, from the Hebrew text, but the importance of them is that the writers of the New Testament never used the Hebrew Old Testament. They used this Testament, the Greek Testament. So for people in the future, hopefully, if it'll still be around. Unto generation and generation, I shall report your truth by my mouth in his songs. For you said, into the eon mercy shall be built up. Now you is God. Into the eon mercy shall be built up. And then he goes into himself. Your truth shall be prepared in the heavens. So he's bringing out the mercy of God and his truth. Verse 3, I ordained a covenant with my chosen ones. I swore by an oath to David, my bondman. Now he changes into the I, God. And it goes on down, and it says, I, God, ordained a covenant with my chosen ones, the elect. And we are the elect. We have a covenant, but we have a new covenant, the one with Jesus, which we'll go through a little bit later. And I swore by an oath to David, my bondman. Now, David, of course, was a person, but it's also uses a sort of a figure, an allegory for Jesus, because Jesus is the one who continues it, not David. David comes to an end, he dies, but yet the promises and the oaths and everything that he says to the bondman is not to David, because he instead was to Jesus, is going to fulfill these things. And that says, unto the eon I shall prepare your seed. Now the seed, uh, I will build up your throne unto generation and generation. Now the seed of David was Jesus, and into the eon, not Abraham here. It's not mentioned in it. It's going through the Jews, which David was, into Jesus, who was also a Jew, and into the eons, into the generation and generation. John 7:42, it said not the scripture that from out of the seed of David and from Bethlehem of the town of and from Bethlehem of the town where David was from, the Christ comes? And so here the seed is from David and through Bethlehem, which I was just trying to explain. And then it says, your throne, and I will build your throne unto generation and generation. And the throne is mentioned in Revelation 22:3. And the throne of God and of the Lamb will be in her, the New Jerusalem, and his bondmen shall serve to him. So in the generation of generation. Now, how far out is the New Jerusalem? It hasn't happened yet. So we've had not hundreds of generations, but quite a few in 2,000 years. 20, I don't know what a generation is considered. Then in 5, the heavens shall acknowledge your wonders. And in Revelation 21:10, it says, and he showed to me the great city, holy Jerusalem, coming down from out of the heaven from God. So the heavens will acknowledge your wonders, the New Jerusalem coming down, O Lord, and your truth in an assembly of holy ones. And in Matthew 16:18, it says, and I say unto you that you are Peter. He's talking to Peter, and upon this, the rock, I believe that's his acknowledgement of who the Christ is, I will build my assembly, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And that is the true assembly, the church. And your truth in an assembly of holy ones, which we are of. And then verse 6, for who in the clouds shall be equal to the Lord? In Mark 14:62, it says, and Jesus said, I am, and you shall see the Son of Man sitting on the right of the power and coming with the clouds of the heaven. For who in the clouds shall be equal to the Lord Jesus? Likened to the Lord among sons of God, which Jesus is the Son of God. God is being glorified in a council of holy ones. He is great and fearful over all the ones surrounding him. Now we get into God's actions. He's glorified in a council of holy ones. In church, or video seminars, I suppose, TV programs. He's glorified. He is great and fearful over all the ones surrounding him. And you can add 4033.1 to your English derivatives book. Peri is around, a periscope, you look around, and a kyklo is also around, going around in a circle. Kyklo, a cycle, comes from that. So we have a perikyklo surrounding him. He's great and fearful over all the ones surrounding him. Angels? Could be. O Lord, the God of the forces, who is likened to you? Now, the military, you are mighty, O Lord, and your truth is round about you. God, Jesus mentions he is the truth. You are despotes, master of the might of the sea. A despot comes from that word there. You can add that to your English derivatives book. Kratos, might, with democrat, the might of the people. And the thalasis, stalactic. And the tossing about of its waves you soothe. Now, I could have put in here where Jesus calm the waves, and I should have. I missed that one. Now I'm just catching it now. But when the disciples were out in the Lake of Galilee, Sea of Galilee, and the waves were tossing about, and they were about to go under, they thought, and they woke up Jesus and, help, save us. And he got up and talked and told the sea to calm down, and it did. I wish I would have put that in there. That would have been a good one to, but I didn't. You humbled the proud as slain. The people that are proud are put down, and he did that where one of the synagogue leaders told him that not to heal on a Sabbath, and then he talked about how you would pull your donkey out of a cistern if it fell in on a Sabbath if you had to, and showed how this pride of this man was wrong, and he humbled him. And by the arm of your might, you dispersed your enemies. And he did. He walked right through the enemies at times when they tried to grab him and throw him off of a cliff. The heavens are yours, and the earth is yours. And God has control of the heavens, not only on the earth with the storms and the lightning and hail and thunder, rain, snow, all of these things, tornadoes. But the earth also, we have the volcanoes, earthquakes, and so forth. He controls the whole world. And further than that, the cosmos. The inhabitable world and its fullness you founded. The inhabitable world, that's sort of interesting, where that is where people are. God founded. We don't know when. I mean, there's people all over the world at different areas that look completely different. And we don't know really how that all happened, came about, how we have people down in South America that have brown skin and have certain features with their prominent cheekbones. Then we have people in Asia where their eyes are slightly different with a full extra fold in the skin. And then the people that are up in the north in Europe or have white skin. And then the people down in Africa, southern Africa, have black skin, and all these different peoples popped up there, and there's millions of each kind. Now, why is that different? How did all of a sudden you have all these million people that look pretty much the same to a person of another race? And so we can look at them. It's hard for a person from one race to differentiate different things, features of a person from another race. So the typical saying is you all look the same. And the other people from the other race say the same things for us. We all look the same, and whoever we are. So how did this happen? Well, it happened by God. The Voron and the West, the North and the West, you created. Now, figures of speech for the why the North and the West, I'm not exactly sure. But Tabor and Hermon shall exalt in your name. Tabor was by Sea of Galilee slightly to the southwest, and Hermon up north. Anti-Lebanon went from Syria, Lebanon, down into the Golan Heights. Your arm is with dynastias, with dominations. And we can add that to your English derivatives book. Dynasty comes from that. His arm or his might is dominates. God can dominate whoever he wants in different ways. Let your hand be fortified, sort of in a military way. Let your right hand be raised up high, in like striking somebody. Righteousness and equity are the preparation of your throne. And whose throne? Well, Jesus will be sitting on a throne. Righteousness, and he's righteous and he's equitable. Mercy and truth shall go forth before your face, and mercy and truth is definitely through Jesus. Blessed are the people knowing the shout of joy, O Lord. Joy. Oh, that's not actually in the Greek, but the shout, O Lord, the shout I put of joy, I don't know what other shout it could be. It could be something else, I suppose. Blessed are the people knowing the shout of victory. O Lord, they shall go in the light of your face. Jesus, his whole person on the Mount of Transfiguration changed to a brightness. And then when the the cloud overshadowed them with Peter, James, and John on the mountain, Jesus was transfigured in front of them. His face shone. And in your name they shall exalt the entire day, which I'm sure they did. And in your righteousness they shall be praised up high. For you are the boast of their power, and these people that are righteous, and by your benevolence our horn shall be raised up high, only because of God. Can we be raised up high? Not everyone that believes in God is raised up high. Many people suffer persecution and to the point of martyrdom. For assistance is of the Lord, antilepsis, the antileptor is the assistant, and of the Holy One of Israel, our King, being raised up high. Now, the horn of it could be Israel, Jesus, David. Being ours, I suppose it would be Israel would be the best there. Then you spoke in a vision to your sons and said, I put help upon a mighty one, raising up high a chosen one from out of my people. Now, Old Testament, of course, the writer here, everybody would have said it was David, but us Christians, we can add Jesus to that description. I found David my bondman, and I anointed him in my holy oil. Again, David was anointed by Samuel. Jesus was baptized. From my hand shall be an aid to him, and my arm shall strengthen him. God and Jesus both. Well, Jesus is God. The enemy shall not derive benefit by him, and the son of lawlessness shall not proceed to inflict evil upon him. That is the one that is being aided and anointed, if it was David. And I will cut, now, the son of lawlessness shall not proceed to inflict evil on him. Well, David and Jesus were attacked by the evil and the Satan, but yet the long run, it didn't work. And I will cut down his enemies from in front of him, and the ones detesting him shall be put to flight. And this is something that happened with the enemies of David and with Jesus will be in the future, I believe. And my truth and my mercy are with him. Truth and mercy, Jesus or David, and in my name his horn shall be raised up high. And that means his power will be raised up high. And you could also say that Jesus being raised up high and the crucifixion and his resurrection is really being raised up high to come up from the dead. And I will set his hand in the sea and his right hand in rivers. Now, David, if it's talking about David, I suppose it would be the Mediterranean unto the up into the Euphrates and to the east of the Jordan River, maybe. He shall call upon me, saying, now see here I think is more towards Jesus. You are my Father, my God, and the shielder of my deliverance. And Matthew 7:21, it says, Jesus says, "Not all saying to me, O Lord, shall enter in the kingdom of the heavens, but the one doing the will of my Father in heavens." You are my Father in the heavens, shielder and a deliverer. "And I will make him firstborn high above the kings of the earth." Now, where is David firstborn? I don't know. I can't think of that. But Jesus, more than one place. In Matthew 1:25, he is the firstborn of Mary. And then in Romans 8:29, he's the firstborn of many brothers, which we are. He's the firstborn. And Colossians 1:15, it says he's the firstborn. All these are prototokon. First, in Colossians 1:15, firstborn of all creation. And in Colossians 1:18 and Revelations 1:5, he's the firstborn from the dead. So it says, I will make him firstborn, high above the kings of the earth, which David really doesn't fit David as well as it does Jesus now. "Into the eon I shall guard to him my mercy, and my covenant is trustworthy to him." Now, above the kings of the earth, in Hebrews 1:3, it says, "Who being the radiance of the glory and impression of his essence, and bearing the whole by the word of his power, by himself making a cleansing of our sins, sat at the right of the greatness in heights." So, above the kings, high above them. "And I shall establish his seed into the eon of the eon." We went through that a little bit earlier. "And this throne as the days of the heaven." If his sons, and that changes now, if his sons should abandon my law. Now, that would be hard for the sons of Jesus and maybe going to David with the Jews, and should not go by my judgments, but I suppose us Christians could think of ourselves as his sons. If we should not do these things, if they should profane my ordinances and should not keep my commandments, then I will visit by a rod, their lawlessness by a rod, and their iniquities with whips. And the Jews definitely, as they crucified Jesus, have suffered since then. But in no way should I efface from them, nor in any way should I wrong in my truth. And he'll do the righteous thing. "Nor in any way should I profane my covenant, and the things going forth through my lips in no way should I annul." So God is continuing to do the things, and the Jews should read this psalm and see, well, then why are they in such a mess today for 2,000 years? Why were they cast out for 2,000 years? "Once I swore by an oath, by my holiness, shall I lie to David?" He swore to David by his holiness. Separation, he's God. "His seed shall abide into the eon." And we had the seed earlier. Now, David died, of course, but his seed, which was Jesus, came from the seed of David through the family. Then he will abide into the eon, and his throne as a son before me. And that is Jesus. "Even as the moon being readied into the eon, and the trustworthy witness in the heaven." I'm not sure, is that the sun? Or New Jerusalem? Could be anything, I suppose. And then we have the pause. Then 38, we have the you. "But you, God, thrust it away and treat it with contempt. You raised your anointed one." And this is a Christone. You raised the Christ, your Christ. "You eradicated the covenant of your bondman." The covenant it says in Matthew 26:28, "For this is my blood of the new covenant for many, being poured out for a release of sin. And you profaned in the land of his sanctuary. You demolished all his barriers. You made his fortresses dreaded. All the ones traveling through the way plundered Israel. He became scorned to his neighbors. You raised up the right hand of the ones afflicting him. You made glad all his enemies." For 2,000 years this happened. "You turned back the help of his broadsword and did not assist him in the battle. You rested from cleansing him, and you broke down his throne unto the ground." No throne of a kingdom for 2,000 years, and between Nebuchadnezzar and Jesus, 400, 500 years. "You diminished the days of his throne, of the kingdom, and you poured upon him shame. For how long, O Lord, will you turn away? To the end? Will your anger burn as fire? Remember what my reality is. We're sinners, Lord." But I believe he's talking about Israel here. "Did you create all the sons of men for acting in folly?" It seems like, it did to, I think it was Elijah, when he looked and he couldn't find anybody that was following Kyrios. But yet the Lord said that he had so many people, thousands of people, I forgot the number, that don't bow their knee to Baal. "Who is the man who shall live and not see death? Shall he rescue his own soul from out of the hand of Hades? No." Then pause. "Where are your ancient mercies, O Lord, which you swore by an oath to David in your truth?" So the Jews could have been asking this question for thousands of years as they were being persecuted. "Remember, O Lord, the scorning of many nations," and then the parenthetical phrase, "of the ones of your bondmen, remember, of which I underwent in my bosom, of which your enemies berated, O Lord, of which they berated the equivalent of your Christ, your Christou." And we have in Matthew 27:44, "And the same way also the robbers being crucified along with him berated him." The same exact word, berated, of his Christ when he was on the cross. Epilogitos, a eulogy. "Blessed be the Lord into the eon," and then he ends it, "May it be, may it be." Psalm 90, "The Lord is unto the eons." We'll find out more about that. A lot of people that are interested in the word aeonio, everlasting, and eternity, might want to view this next video. Till then, God bless.